A little bit about my organisation, the Council of Europe. It's not the European Union. It gets confused very often, but in fact it's older and it's got a much better soul, I would say. The Council of Europe has in it 47 countries of Europe, and we're about human rights. We're about democracy, and we're about the rule of law. And at that point, I give myself a little shake and I look around, because it is so nice to be in a conference of women. I put a flower in my hair, and usually we have a conference of men in black suits arguing about where to put a comma in a resolution. So this is just a fabulous thing. And again, excuse me, but I'm going to go down to the audience. Okay, I'm going to start with something very feminine. Football, or for the Americans in the audience, soccer. Okay? Who likes soccer? I'm going to do a quick poll. Do you like soccer?
Yes, I do.
Wow, she likes soccer. Okay, let's come over here. Do you like soccer?
No, I don't.
No. What about you? Do you like soccer?
Yes.
Yes, we've got another one. Let's go over this side. Who? We've got some people who want to say whether they like soccer or not.
Arsenal.
This is fabulous. Thank you. I paid her 1,000 rupees to just give me that line because I want to talk about Arsenal. Arsenal. About 4 years ago, we ran in the Council of Europe a campaign to stop racism in football. Some of you may know that it has been a very great problem with some of the black players, and we decided to do this campaign. Now comes Arsenal. The manager of the Arsenal football team, Arsenal's in London, is a lovely man, a wonderful man called Arsene Wenger. And he comes from Strasbourg, which is the place where the Council of Europe is based. And he agreed to do a short television interview with me. And, you know, I had to sit 5 hours in the Arsenal football stadium waiting for him. And you know what it's like with television. 5 hours, and it took us maybe about 20 minutes for a 3-minute package where he said in English and in French and in German and in Alsatian, which is the language that they speak in that area, that football was a beautiful game, that there should be no racism, and that he supported the Council of Europe campaign against racism. Small little package. We put it onto the internet, and we tracked it by the analytics tool. Within 24 hours, it had gone to 2 million people. Then we did something else. I'm fortunate to have colleagues who do like football, so I don't particularly. They took it, and they took it onto some of the football sites. There are ones called the Bleacher Report, and I don't know. The footballers amongst you will know. So they put it into places where people read about football. And you know, within another 24 hours, we got 8 million people looking at that. And the next day, that story, just Arsene Wenger, manager of Arsenal, supports the campaign, says football is a beautiful game, kick racism out. It was in the Huffington Post, which you will know is one of the most influential media coming from America. It was in USA Today. It was even in India Today. So that shows the power of social media. I want to step just quickly into another campaign, which was our big campaign against domestic violence. We had a campaign a few years ago. Domestic violence is a great problem everywhere, and particularly so also in many countries of Europe. And we had a big campaign with many campaigning elements. But the great thing about it was we had the classic things. We had the big launch in Spain with the Spanish Prime Minister. We had the posters. We had parliamentarians working. But it also worked through social media. Do you know what the result is? The result is those parliamentarians were persuaded by their people, by the people who read us on social media, who went to them and said, change the law in this country. Make it a crime to hurt women. And the Council of Europe has just this year launched a convention against domestic violence, which covers 47 countries, and which will criminalize domestic violence to women in those countries. It's a great result. But as my friend already said, a lot changes with social media, and a lot stays the same. And I want to repeat your thing. I say thing because it's about message. This is just a tool. It's a powerful tool, but it's just a tool. And you've got to use it. You've got to use it. The message is the key, and the use of it in an appropriate way is the key. So you've got to have the right message. There are people out there, as we've heard, who are using this for reasons which are wrong. There are people called trolls who will go around and spread hate on the internet. And it's up to us in this room to stop that. Okay? So the message is really important. We've got to get that message right. And we here know what sort of message we want to spread. Also, it's very easy to say, great, Twitter, Facebook, I've got 300,000 people following. But are those 300,000 people doing something? You know, I'm not too sure. And I become more disengaged sometimes from social media. You have to think if it's the right thing. Is the community you're trying to target using that social media? And one difficulty I've had is now I work a lot with the Gypsy people, the Roma people of Europe. As you know, the Roma people came out of India, in fact, a long, long time ago, and there's 10 million of them now live in Europe. They suffer terribly. They're very, very deprived. Many of the children don't go to school. The young girls can get married at 12 and have to do domestic work. Their average life expectancy, usually in Europe, it's around about 75, and they're about 50. So there's a lot needs to be done. We've started work with them. They use social media a lot, but it's the men who use it. So I'm going to set out a challenge to the panel and to yourselves. We can go into the communities and we can talk to the Roma women. Some of the Roma women have been trained to mediate between the Roma and the outside community. But how can we skill them up and give them this social media tool that can bring them together? That's where I want to leave it for now. And I do hope that either now in the panel or later on, you'll come to me with your ideas. If you've got 300,000 friends on Facebook, I'll give you a little tip. Become an ambassador and just take 10 powerful women from this conference and befriend them. Because that's the way to do it. 300,000 doesn't mean anything, but 10 people who do the work does. Thank you.